You were there, you let me know you cared. Your eyes said, yes you can. You helped make me what I am. For the way that you inspired me, I couldn't have done it without you. For the heart and soul you gave, I just want to say thanks to teachers. With a word and a smile, you made me want to try. Taught me to believe in myself and reach for the sky. For the way that you inspired me, I couldn't have done it without you. For the heart and soul you gave, I just want to say thanks to teachers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bruce Owney, and welcome to TV9's Thanks to Teachers special. During the next hour, we will be honoring 9 outstanding educators. These are teachers who inspire and guide our children, preparing them for what's ahead in their lives. TV9 and our Show You Care sponsors asked people in eastern Iowa and southwestern Wisconsin to nominate their favorite teachers. We received more than 500 nominations. And you can imagine the difficult duty our panel of judges faced in narrowing that number down to the 9 people you will meet tonight. The judges did a wonderful job, so now let's say thanks to teachers. Many people enjoy math, but for others, just the word math brings back nightmares of multiplication tables, algebraic equations, and square roots. One teacher in Tipton works hard, though, to make her math assignments fun. TV9's Mike Wagner wants you to meet Heidi Burnett.
This is where you're going to be free to roam. Water in the containers, not on you. We'll be okay. Okay? Go ahead and get started. Go ahead and get started.
A lot of times you think of math, oh, it's just 5 times 5, it's 25. But when you decided what you're going to wear this morning, you did math. You problem solved. So math isn't just textbook, it's real life. It's what goes on.
So that's misleading. You can really fit 140 ounces in here, and they're only selling you 125? Can't believe it.
On a daily basis, Heidi Burnett introduces her students to things that make them go, But these hands-on math assignments are about doing as much as they are about thinking.
I don't want kids to do something to get on a pat on the back from me. Because I'm going to go away. I'm not going to be with them for the next 30 years. But if I can have them feel good about what they did, and they did it on their own, that's really my job, is to see that they understand it, that they do it for themselves and not for me.
Sarah Williams is doing more for herself every day thanks to Mrs. Burnett. Some people wanted to see the youngster in a classroom with other special needs students. But once she and Mrs. Burnett met, all that changed. Sarah programmed her talking computer to say why she nominated Mrs. Burnett for this award.
I like to play around just like other kids. Mrs. Burnett isn't asleep. She even wrestles with me. Sometimes I even win.
After just a few minutes in the classroom, it's easy to see how Mrs. Burnett's enthusiasm for learning is so contagious.
And they probably didn't even realize they were learning at the time. If they can walk away with a little more sunshine in their back pocket than when they came in, I think they're going to remember that till the day they die.
And there's at least one student who will never forget the 5th grade.
Mrs. Burnett treats me just like the other kids. She makes me a part of the class rather than just a wheelchair kid in the back of the room. I love Mrs. Burnett.
Mrs. Burnett, what should I do with this? Hand it to me.
Each of our Thanks to Teachers winners tonight will be receiving a special award like this and a $250 prize as well. Now join me in thanking teacher Heidi Burnett from Tipton Middle School in Tipton.
I just have a few people that I'd like to thank. First of all, my friends and family for all the love and support they've given me. To the Tipton staff for letting me be a part of a great staff. and to the kids in room 105, both past and present, for teaching me about life and myself. I love all of you and will never forget all that you've taught me. For Sarah, for nominating me and changing my life. To my parents, for being great role models as well as educators. I learned more from you than you will ever know. To my husband, Brian, for teaching me to slow down and enjoy life. And to KCRG for this award. This is a nice and very special award, but I have to be honest with you, it's not the greatest award I've ever received. I received that one 4 years ago when I received a phone call from Tipton saying, Heidi, come and teach for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Many teachers go above and beyond the call of duty to really make a difference in our children's lives, but some of them are almost irreplaceable. TV9's Mavis Glass found one of the latter at Immaculate Conception School in Keeler, Wisconsin. She's a teacher who wears many hats.
Listen up, friends, you've got to help with our plan, or we could all be living in a garbage can.
As music teacher Nanette Dagnon leads these third graders in song, they have her undivided attention that could be easily divided by all Mrs. Dagnon has to do. She's not just the music teacher. Immaculate Conception's 100 students also call her principal, school superintendent, even school nurse if need be.
I guess I think of myself as sort of like a mother is to a household, only this is on the professional level for the school. So basically I do whatever needs to be done.
Mrs. Dagnon is a mother and a wife at home. Here, she's the only one running the school's office, and her duties often keep her here till 7 at night.
A bulletin board here at Immaculate Conception says friends are gifts from God, and Mrs. Dagnon is a friend to teachers and students alike.
She's a friend when we need a friend. She's principal when we need that guidance. She's always working. Everything she does is for the best interest of the staff and the students here. She's always working for us.
What information do we have out of these three possibilities?
Teacher Kathy Kisting wrote to us about Mrs. Dagnon. So did 5th grader Laura Wubbin and 6th grader Lacey Dressler. We asked Lacey to read from her letter about Mrs. Dagnon.
If she wasn't here, our school would be a mess. If she was sick or something for a week, when she would come back, everything would be a mess. I hope you understand how important Miss Dagnon is to our school.
She does everything for us.
That's pretty special, huh?
Yeah.
There was a tree, there was a tree.
These students say Mrs. Dagnon's commitment, dedication, and hard work make her a role model for them.
I'm glad to hear that from them because we're always encouraging them to do their best. And that's what I try to do in my job. So I'm hoping that they, whatever good they see in me, I'm hoping they translate it to, I can do this and I can do more.
The trunk on the tree and the tree in the wood, and the green grass grows all around, and the green grass grows all around. Now on that
Mrs. Dagnon isn't sure what she will do with her $250 Thanks to Teachers award. She says she may use it to buy instruments for the children at Immaculate Conception. And what a terrific idea. Join me now in congratulating and thanking Nanette Dagnon.
I'd like to begin by congratulating Lacey Dressler and Laura Wubbin for writing award-winning letters. I hope they pursue that career. I feel I accept this award on behalf of the staff at Immaculate Conception in Keeler. We'd like everyone to know that small schools can and do achieve excellence. I owe special thanks and all credit to my family and to the people of Immaculate Conception. They've always expected me to do my best, and what better gift is there for a person than to be able to work at a job where people want you to do what you love doing. I've also recently experienced remarkable kindness and patience from them as I went through a an appendectomy. And that made me focus in on the aspect of caring. I think that's what makes a school great. And that's why I want to especially thank KCRG TV9 and the sponsors of this program to inspire all of us to care about our students and about education. Thank you.
Still to come tonight, a gifted teacher whose talents enable some special students to learn, and will strike up the band for a teacher who makes beautiful music and who makes music beautiful for his students. Stay with us.
Thanks to Teachers, a TV9 Show You Care special presentation. Brought to you by Hardee's Restaurants, Yonkers, St. Luke's Hospital, and the Ameris Group.
Welcome back to Thanks to Teachers, a TV9 Show You Care special. Teachers give so much every day. Bonnie Lenz gives the gift of knowledge, self-esteem, and support to her students at the Iowa Braille and Sight Saving School in Vinton. TV9's Susan Folkin says many of her students will never be able to thank her for all that she's done for them.
Find the boat to your left.
Oh, good thinking.
Yes.
Left and right.
There's very little that beats the kind of almost thrill when someone does something by themselves for the first time.
You can feel Bonnie Lenz's sense of victory just by watching her teach. But Bonnie isn't teaching ABCs. She's teaching milestones at the Iowa Braille School in Vinton.
Her patience, her concern, her genuine loving and caring for her students. And also she has extraordinary energy and creativity in solving very difficult problems.
Hold it over. That's right. Excellent.
Problems opening an often dark and silent world for children with mental and physical challenges.
Some of the kids, when they first come, they've had really difficult times with pretty simple things, like getting themselves a drink of water even, or things like that. They'll sit and scream rather than go to the fountain. They don't know it's there. They don't know that we'll let them go, and they don't really know that they can do it without someone reminding them or telling them.
With a warm, encouraging voice, Bonnie magically makes voices sing, breaking that communication barrier.
I like trying to figure out what kind of support they need and providing it and helping them get to where they can function.
Bonnie's husband, Alan, nominated her for TV9's Thanks to Teachers Award. He describes her loving teaching touch.
The teacher must see past their wild and irascible behaviors and deeply care about them. She must, as Bonnie does, see potential, however little there might be. I would explain it better if I understood how Bonnie does it. All I know is that the children bloom a little bit under her touch, and that little represents a big victory.
Okay, what do you think, Jess? Looking good.
She is very patient with all kids. She's able to, if you want, reason with the kids, even when they have no communication ability. Somehow they seem to understand what she intends to do with them.
Slowly but surely, students do understand and they do learn.
Which is your left? Oh, no, that's the right. Try it again. Excellent.
Every day here is challenging and exhausting, but a strong belief keeps Bonnie teaching.
I guess the only way that I can keep doing it is just because deep down I really know that it is possible, that they can grow up to be some kind of contributing citizen.
Bonnie says she always hated school as a student, but the moment she started working with mentally and physically challenged children, she knew she was destined to be a teacher. Please join me in saying thank you to Bonnie Lenz.
want to thank KCRG and the sponsors for this. It's important for us teachers to experience success and recognition, and we're all feeling that right now. But yet it can be easy for us to forget how important that is for our students. And it is our responsibility as educators to see that all of our students, no matter what their abilities or needs are, do experience that real success. And that success which is only possible when we create a safe and supportive environment for them. Once we do that, we can challenge them and help them to strive and grow way beyond anything that they themselves might imagine. And if I've done this a little bit with my students, I certainly don't deserve all the credit. I need to share it with the excellent school assistants that I have, the house parents, and the wonderful faculty at my school who have supported me, and also of the parents of my students whose love and belief in their children has been a great inspiration to me. Thank you.
When you were growing up, you probably had a favorite class in school. Maybe it was science, art, or, like me, even history. But if you ask students at Taft Middle School in Cedar Rapids about their favorite classes, well, many of them might say band, and a lot of credit goes to Thanks to Teachers winner Robert Manson. TV9's Dave Fransman says Mr. Manson is a master of musical motivation.
That section at 109 again. Let's start there, please. 109. Everybody sit up straight, please. Good posture. 109. 1 and 2 and ready.
When Bob Manson picks up a baton, he never gets a lonely feeling. Practically every band class at Taft features a full house of students ready to play. And it's no mystery why you never find a lot of empty seats here. Half of all Taft students, over 100 per class, sign up for band. It starts before middle school when Manson visits fifth graders to recruit future band members.
I think that a lot of kids, regardless of my presence, before I come to the buildings, already know whether they want to try band or whether they don't. I don't know whether I make or break, their participation.
But band parent Linda Jenkins says Manson doesn't give himself enough credit. Over the last 11 years, she says Manson has turned the Taft Band program into a must-do activity for a lot of students. In fact, many elementary parents with children entering Taft always hear, make sure your child takes band.
My daughter came into Taft with no musical experience to speak of and really no interest in it. And he convinced her to take up clarinet, and she's now the first clarinetist in the 7th grade.
Now, the lessons students learn as members of the Taft Band are not something they leave behind when they exit the stage for the final time as 8th graders. In fact, Bob Manson is very proud that 95% of all the band students here at the middle school will go on to play band at the high schools.
And I don't know that I do anything particularly different from other music teachers or other band teachers, but it just has gotten to the point where it's been successful, and now it's just kind of success breeds success, I guess.
A lot of kids may think band sounds easier than, say, chemistry or calculus, but parents say Bob Manson doesn't earn the title favorite teacher from a lot of students by making it easy. They say he combines a love of music, motivation, and discipline in proper proportions.
Yeah, he cares more about the students than he does about just perfecting everything. I mean, he wants us to be good at what we do, but he cares about us as individuals.
And parents say Manson's not only generous with his time, but also resources. Every year, as many as 180 students attend a 2-week summer band camp. Parents say they believe Manson keeps the cost low by paying for a lot of things out of his own pocket.
The band parents say there is just one problem with all of the full band classes that Bob Manson teaches. During concerts, they wonder how all the musicians are going to fit up there on the stage. Let's bring up Bob Manson now from Taft Middle School in Cedar Rapids.
I would like to thank KCRG and its sponsors for this Show You Care Award for teaching. I would also like to thank Mrs. Linda Jenkins, who nominated me, and all the other wonderful Taft parents for their continued support. This is especially rewarding because I get to teach alongside many excellent and equally deserving teachers every day at Taft Middle School. I'm also appreciative of many of my colleagues locally and throughout Eastern Iowa who do an excellent job teaching instrumental music and are always available for me when I need suggestions or advice. I would like to give a very special thank you to my parents who tried to teach me everything that I didn't learn in school, and these are some of the things that help me make better decisions for kids' sake. And finally, a special thank you and debt of gratitude for the people that I work for every day of the year. You, the members of the Taft 8th grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade bands. Some people succeed because they are destined to. You succeed because you are determined to. In school districts throughout this listening area, don't ever underestimate the value of music in your schools and its importance in the development of every individual. It's basic and it's essential. Thank you.
Still coming up tonight, a teacher who appreciates her students almost as much as they appreciate her, and a teacher who gives her students lessons to last a lifetime. Stay with us. Welcome back to tonight's TV9 Show You Care special as we say thanks to teachers. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had the privilege to meet our next teacher, Jean Oberbrockling of Harding Middle School in Cedar Rapids. After just a few moments in her class, it was easy to see why her nominator described Jean as a great example of a teacher who's also a friend.
Mrs. Hesse gave me this note yesterday, and it says, please see me about the plans for our field trip. I understand our kids have been working hard on this. And then she writes, we're getting excited. And then she says, it's coming soon.
You can quickly understand why 7th graders in Harding Middle School's extended learning program really appreciate their teacher. Jean Oberbrockling, or Ms. O as the kids call her, inspires these students. They laugh, they listen, they learn.
You would never ever think of making a presentation to parents or to an audience without having some sort of practice. So I'm building that into the schedule, and your grades are going to be dependent upon those timelines that we're following.
Ms. O understands these gifted and talented young people face some exciting possibilities in their lives. A quick glance around her classroom shows you several displays that challenge these kids to examine what's around them, to explore the issues that make up their world.
Don't ever settle for mediocrity. Don't ever do that, because you have so much that you can give and go beyond with. I think they take that to heart.
I like how she's always there for the students, and she's always at the competitions, and she's always there helping people.
I would probably wager.
After 20 years of teaching, the last 4 of them at Harding, it's obvious Jean Oberbrockling still enjoys the excitement of the classroom.
Look at some stuff in this.
She encourages her students to share their ideas, and she marvels at what they can accomplish.
I have several students that are really good at computers, and I say, come help me, I don't understand how you do this. Why can't I do this or that? And they're so patient and kind, and I look at them and say, you know, you really should go into education. You're really good. I feel very comfortable with you when you tell me these things. So yeah, they teach me a lot.
And the students appreciate that respect.
Because she knows that we're actually there and thinking, and we can do things by ourselves.
Yeah. Why do you suppose it's important to do something like this if you're going to do a big long-term project?
Sometimes I think when we praise kids, it's not the same thing as encouraging kids. So when you encourage kids and they sit back and look what they have done, there's nothing better than that. It's great.
Jean Oberbrockling told me one of her greatest thrills is to see student projects that are absolutely fantastic. But she says what's fantastic is not so much the cosmetics of that project, but the thinking that went into it. And a lot of that thinking is the direct result of this teacher's efforts. Please welcome Jean Oberbrockling.
Thank you, Bruce. Every morning on my way to school, I notice people in their car next to me as we pull up to the stoplight, and sometimes I see faces that are determined and sometimes aggravated and sometimes bored and maybe even sometimes impatient. And I think to myself, you know, how terrible it must be not to go to a place that gives you a tremendous amount of stimulation and encouragement and excitement and challenge. That's what my kids give to me every day. I would like to thank Melissa for reminding me that what I do makes a difference. And I would like to thank my family for their understanding and for their patience. And lastly, I would like to thank KCRG and the sponsors of the Thanks to Teachers program for their belief in the importance of teaching. Thank you.
The teachers who really stand out in our schools are the ones who go beyond the textbook and who touch a child's heart. Doris Payton has taught her second grade class at Wilkins Elementary in Marion many important lessons, and TV9's Mike Russell says those lessons will stay with her students for the rest of their lives.
What is 40 minus 7?
Doris Payton was completely surprised when she found out she was a TV9 Thanks to Teachers award winner.
I think my reaction was wow, and I think I must have said wow more times than I should have, and she probably wondered who she was talking to. So, but no, it was a nice surprise.
Payton worked at home, raising her family for years. Then, once her own kids were grown, she came to the classroom. 8-year-old Matt Clausen and his mother, Ann, nominated Mrs. Payton.
It's sort of hard not to nominate her. Our son's had a very difficult couple years and had a hard time staying in school. My son was diagnosed with brain cancer in November of 1992. And he had extensive radiation and chemotherapy and other surgeries and a lot of complications.
The medical prognosis for Matt's recovery is now good, but keeping up in school was tough because of all the time Matt spent in the hospital.
Since the day we walked in the door, she's made it very clear that she was going to involve him in every aspect of the classroom that she could, and she did more than that. She's a very compassionate, loving person.
You know, I guess it's been kind of a goal in the back of my mind, I guess not really verbalized or anything, to keep him, you know, a part of the class even though he couldn't be in here with us. And so everything that we did, we tried to include Matt as much as we could. He just wants to be, just a regular student in 2B. And somehow the boys and girls have sensed that, and they know that, and he's a part of the class that way without being, without singling him out.
Matt was out of class frequently throughout the year, and Mrs. Payton had the kids write him cards to let him know what they were doing. When the class went on field trips, students would either videotape the trip or make drawings to show Matt what the class did. And at Christmas time, the entire class visited Matt at home. Mrs. Payton did more than just keep Matt caught up on his schoolwork. She helped lift his spirits.
We made a little deal, and I said, oh, she says, do you watch girls basketball? And I say, no. I don't watch those girls because I think they're wimps. When I was up in the hospital, someone knocked on the door and said, is there anyone named Matt Clausen in this room? He said, yeah. And he said, I want to talk to you for a minute, Matt.
Who was it?
It was all the girls' basketball team. And I regret what I call girls' wimps.
Just want to tell her thanks. She means the world to us.
I try to say thanks to her because she's kept me up in all my homework, and she's kept me up with the class. And
Doris Payton has done more than teach these children how to read and write. She's taught them a lesson in life, a lesson about compassion, friendship, and love.
By the way, while Matt was in the hospital, Doris Payton made sure the students in her class knew how he was doing, and Matt says when he came back to class, it was really nice that all of the kids remembered him. And tonight we say thank you to Doris Payton of Wilkins Elementary in Marion.
Thank you. Thanks to KCRG TV9
and Hardee's, Midland Savings Bank, and St. Luke's Hospital, and Yonkers for sponsoring the Thanks to Teachers Award. Also, thanks to my family, the Clausens, and my teaching colleagues at Wilkins. This is a really gratifying award. Thank you. Every year, when a teacher comes in the fall, we know that it's going to be different from the year before, because each young person who walks through the classroom door is like a flower that's ready to bloom, but no two flowers bloom alike. So each year is filled with challenges and exciting learning. This year has been really different. It's been a year with a great deal of learning for 2B and me. In fact, as I reflect on the past 9 months, I think I've learned more than I've taught. The learning that we've had isn't learning that we get from books. It's learning that comes from a real life experience. And for this, I thank Matt and his family. Our second graders at 2B are richer for this experience. Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back and say more thanks to teachers. We want to take time now to thank the judges who selected our Thanks to Teachers winners. They had a very difficult job. Professor Richard Shepherdson from the College of Education at the University of Iowa could not be with us tonight, but our other judges are here. They are Claudia Cook, a child development instructor at Hawkeye Community College in Waterloo, and Dr. Roger Johansson, an associate professor and chairman of the education department at Coe College in Cedar Rapids. We want to thank both of you so much for your efforts in making Thanks to Teachers a success. And you've heard, yes, good. They deserve the applause. And you've heard us mention our Show You Care sponsors tonight. This is a group of Eastern Iowa businesses that are very active in community events and are extremely interested in education. Our sponsors help promote TV9's many community affairs projects. We want to introduce these sponsors now and thank them for their support. From Hardee's Restaurants, we have Terry Wolfgram. We have Lisa Kelsey here tonight representing the Ameris Group. And from St. Luke's Hospital in Cedar Rapids, Greg Torreson. Unfortunately, from Yonkers Department Stores, no one could make it tonight, but we thank our Show You Care sponsors as well this evening. And still to come tonight, you will be meeting a teacher who uses trees to help his students grow, and a teacher who tackles tough topics in a tender way. Stay with us. Welcome back to Thanks to Teachers, a TV9 Show You Care special. For students in Mr. Kim Reed's class at Madison Elementary in Cedar Rapids, everything is a potential learning experience. The fifth graders have a thirst for learning, and TV9's Kelly Schultz says Mr. Reed quenches that thirst every day.
He was in the way? Okay, what else? Why do you think it might have been cut down?
I don't know, for wood.
So it had been diseased, possibly?
Every teacher strives to make their teaching relevant to their students. It's difficult to keep students interested in learning, but Mr. Reed does it. Today, these students are continuing their year-round Madison Woods project. At the beginning of the year, the kids each picked a tree and watched them grow. Each month, students go out to this patch of trees right off the school grounds to closely examine nature at work.
We get to go outside and write about a tree, and then, we draw pictures about what it kind of looks like and write stuff about it.
The Madison Woods project helps kids learn, though they may not realize it.
It's not a chore to these kids. They don't think they've done science or social studies today at all. They think that they've just gone out and visited the woods and done some art.
We think this classroom is special because we have a long...
Kim Reed's classroom was the first in Cedar Rapids to use the computer internet. They are email pen pals with fellow students in Australia. Mr. Reed taught in Australia for 15 years and thought it would be fun for his students to correspond with students from a different country. For some of his students, the internet is their favorite activity.
I've never used it before, and it's really fun because you get to explore, and then you'll learn new things that you've never seen before.
Mr. Reed tries to make his teaching relevant through programs like this, Kids in Society. Kids are paid $20 a day, and they collect a paycheck every 2 weeks, and they can use this money to buy such things as books and pencils. Through this program, he hopes to teach his students the value of $1.
From a parent's point of view, it's just the atmosphere of his classroom. It's so easy for the kids to learn. He makes things interesting for them, and then plus his demeanor. So many people say, no matter when you pop into the classroom, you walk by in the hall, you hear the same calm voice. And I just think that's really important. He sets a really good example for the kids that way, too.
Kim Reed attended Cedar Rapids schools as a student himself. He went to Kennedy High School and had his own favorite teachers, Dr. Plagman and Mr. Pittner. They motivated him to become a teacher.
Well, again, when I came back from Australia, I had a choice of what to do. And, go back into teaching or stay in teaching or try something else. There's a lot of interests I had in different things, but I thought teaching is really what I'm cut out for, and I enjoy this.
As you heard, Kim Reed returned to Iowa from Australia in the early 1990s. He's from Eastern Iowa and wanted to come home. Well, let's say thanks to this teacher and Iowa native, Mr. Kim Reed.
Thank you. I want to begin by thanking my students Abby and Darren and their families for nominating me for this nice award, and to all the students and staff and parents at Madison for their support over the years. My wife Laura is also a teacher, and my parents, they've all encouraged me to stay in this career and do as well as I have. When I think back to when I began teaching, the resources in my room included black and white films and film strips, outdated books, and so on. And today my classroom includes videos, access to cable TV, computer programs, and the internet. But what hasn't changed is students' thirst for knowledge. I think every good educator, or every educator, tries to quench that thirst for knowledge. At least that's what keeps me coming back every year. Thank you.
Some teachers help us learn, of course, but others really inspire us to explore new ideas and new ways of thinking. That describes Bonnie Rolina. After 27 years of teaching, her approach now is as fresh as it was her first day. TV9's Amy Taylor looks at the special touch Mrs. Rolina uses with her Benton Community High School students.
Everything firsthand. So by giving children books, we are able to enlarge their world. And I think for us adults and for you people looking at children's book, it enables you to see things from a child's world.
Bonnie Rolina wants her students to see things from new perspectives. That's why she's constantly moving in her classroom, challenging students to see things from different viewpoints. Her style, interactive and personal.
Kim, what do you think about this book?
I think it's really good because it tells how the mom loves the kid.
With a master's in education, Mrs. Rolina emphasizes the importance of relating to students on issues that are important to them in today's world.
I'm a sensitive person myself, and so I care about how other people feel, and I think we need to prepare students for the world that they're going into.
Students say Mrs. Rolina isn't afraid to tackle controversial subjects like sexual harassment. She provides a forum for a frank and open discussion.
She is just so great about it because she knows what we go through, and she can sit there and talk to us and not lecture about it. And if you just need to talk to her about anything, she's there.
I think, for the most part, they feel that it's good that somebody is willing to let them honestly talk about their feelings on some of these issues. And I think they like discussing it in a structured classroom setting.
Sometimes that structure comes in the form of outside activities. Mrs. Rolina helps students work on issues that plague our society, from sexual abuse to alcohol abuse. Teens work hard to find solutions. Kim Carlson takes pride in her work with children at Four Oaks.
I like the way she gets people involved, and
how she does activities so we can understand the work better.
Mrs. Rowling is just a great teacher. Whenever you have a problem, you can feel free to go and talk to her. I mean, whenever I have a problem that I need to work out, I can go talk to her and she's willing to listen to me. She doesn't offer me advice unless I ask for it.
Maybe you didn't think they cared for your class or that they were learning anything, and then you get this special little note that says, oh, by the way, do you remember when we did such and such in a classroom? I've really found that useful. You know, those are the special little things that I think make it all worthwhile.
Mrs. Rolina's students do remember that she's teaching them life skills for the future.
When I look at children, they're not just somebody else's children, but they're our kids.
Well, as you can tell, Mrs. Rolina is a teacher who gives her students much more than just their lessons from a textbook. As Amy said, she hopes to leave them with life skills for the future. Please join me in saying thank you to Bonnie Rolina.
I would like to thank KCRG and the Show You Care sponsors in recognizing educators in the Thanks to Teachers. I have been very fortunate in the past years to have been able to work with many dedicated colleagues who go beyond in the classroom and outside of the classroom. I would like to give them a special thanks. Also to Kim, Sheila, and Jennifer for nominating me, and my principal. A special thanks for my family for always being there and supporting me in all my efforts. It takes educators supporting each other to make programs work. I would like to say a special thanks to them. In our rapidly changing world, it is going to take everyone, not only educators, in working to prepare our students for the year 2000 and after. Thank you, KCRG, and the Show You Care sponsors for being part of that effort.
Coming up tonight, you will meet a teacher who became a student to help a child. Stay with us. Welcome back to Thanks to Teachers, a TV9 Show You Care special. Keeping a classroom of students focused on learning is not always easy, but having students with special needs offers its own set of challenges. Tonight, TV9's Lori Johnson introduces us to Laura Wilhite, a Waterloo teacher who meets those challenges head on.
Don't let a stranger in, and don't touch fire.
Laura Wilhite weaves enthusiasm and interest into storytelling and keeps her entire second grade class mesmerized.
I would say I've done my job if I instill in them a love of learning. Just the fact that learning can be fun, hard work can be fun, you know, and if they are sparked, their curiosity, and they want to learn and it becomes something that's intrinsic to them, then it'll carry on, I hope, over and over, and as they get older, and they'll stick with it.
Danny Schultz may not understand the big plans his teacher has for him and his classmates. He just considers Miss Wilhite a great friend.
Why did you want her to get this award?
Well, because she's a nice teacher and teaches us all around and teaches the different classes.
Danny is hearing impaired, but that doesn't slow him down. Danny used to go to school with other hearing impaired children. This is the first year he's attended school here at Grant Elementary. The move has opened up a whole new world, not only for Danny, but for the rest of the class as well.
We talked at the very beginning, and Dan really educated all of us. And so it's been neat for the whole classroom to realize, you know, that it doesn't change him at all, having this, you know, hearing challenge.
Did somebody forget to give you triangles? Okay. How could that happen? How many are you going to need? Figure it out.
I need one.
I was a little bit nervous this year because I've never had a hearing impaired child in my room, and so I was sort of nervous on my end of it. Would I be able to meet all of his needs? And he has so many coping skills, and he's so easy to work with that it hasn't been a problem.
Laura became a student to teach Danny. A hearing trainer taught her how to use special equipment so Danny wouldn't miss anything.
So Dan became, the special person here, pretty popular because of that, But now since the year has gone on, he's just another kid, and really, we don't hardly think about it.
That's all thanks to Laura, a teacher who makes a difference by forgetting about differences in her students.
Laura Wilhite started teaching at Grant Elementary in Waterloo 7 years ago, and she says the great students and the supportive staff there keep her there. Let's welcome Laura tonight.
There are many surprises every day when you teach second graders, but this award is one surprise I'll never forget. Teachers plant seeds in their students and sometimes don't get to see them grow when the students move on. But I don't know if students and parents realize that they plant seeds in us also, and they may not know the impact that they have on our lives. And I have been so enriched by the families that I've come to know through teaching, and they've sincerely touched my life. On behalf of all teachers, I want to say thank you for letting us know that what we do each day is important. And as for myself, I'd like to say that I'm a representative of a profession I truly love and one in which I take great pride. So thank you from me and all of us.
And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks to Teachers, a TV9 Show You Care special presentation brought to you by Hardee's Restaurants, Yonkers, St. Luke's Hospital, and the Ameris Group.
That concludes our program for tonight, and once again we want to say a big congratulations to our 9 Thanks to Teachers winners. We also want to thank the thousands of other educators in eastern Iowa and southwestern Wisconsin who show they care every day about our children and the education they receive. I'm Bruce Owney. Thanks for watching tonight. We'll see you again tonight at 10 on Nightcast. Good night.